Sit for a minute until
okay.
I finish up with these two people.
Okay.
And then I want to talk to the police for just a minute.
Yeah.
And then we can talk.
Okay. Thank you, my dears. Thank you so much for escorting me to this beautiful Nauru. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on, Peter.
Goodbye.
Come on, Peter.
I'm being polite.
I know you are. Yeah.
Hi, Carol. How are you? Did you get everything?
Why did you go over there for? So why did you go over there?
I went over there to because I really want these questions. Well, this movie is unbelievable. First of all, I have a 12-hour movie from first semester, and the best reel that you should watch is in the psychologist's office at ULA. Because my brother, I went to LA, and him and his girlfriend go, Peter, just let everyone watch this first because it explains everything real good. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so the psychologist basically said, and I've gone to him 3 times, he goes, what are you doing here?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So anyway,
why did you go over to the College of Human
because
Services?
I want to show the world because it's either A or B. Either the people are like you and John Leo. In other words, John Leo at URI, who in my opinion is the smartest
He likes you.
guy. But he graduated from Yale University, started the film department. So I sent him the same email I sent everybody else, who in my opinion, they all put themselves on a higher shelf. And so John Leo wrote back immediately within 10 minutes of writing the email. He read the Silly Sort Solutions.
Said he was going to share it with some friends.
Yeah, he said it was basically genius and he was sending it to everyone he knew in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you have the president of the school at the time, Crothers, who saw the same identical email, who said, say what? To the same email.
Yeah.
Now, if you think that's professional from a...
And
What?
Why?
Okay, so then I'm doing the same thing because in other words, I should be getting a fellowship or a scholarship, in my opinion, and it's my humble opinion, because I have a better assortment of endorsements than anyone who ever graduated Harvard, and this school is not Harvard or Yale.
So is that why you went to the College of Arts?
Yes, so everyone I want to know, I sent that email to the head of psychology department over and over. I headed to the kinesiology, Miss Kelly, the dean of arts and sciences, what's his name, the assistant dean, Earl Smith.
Earl Smith, yeah.
And so no one returns my email except who? Except Earl and
John Leo.
And John Leo, and all of them say,
I do ultimately.
And Earl and G, at the beginning of the school, they wanted me to just finish my credits, and I said, I want to know. I left a message on Earl's machine today, and you could help him, but I want to know, and I don't want a list of 10 or 11, I only want to know one student in the history of URI whose credits weren't accepted when they came back to finish school, like Nancy Kelly did to me. And so if I'm the first student ever that they did that to, then the world is going to go, I wonder what that is. But if I'm not, then you can't quarrel with them all, and they do that to everybody.
Some of those credits were accepted.
Some, but why not? But I want to know if there's ever a student who went to URI like I did, whose credits that weren't accepted.
Of course there are.
Okay, but I want to list. I want a name of one person.
After what? 30 years, 20 some odd years. Anyway, those education credits were very outdated.
Okay, but I want to know a name of a student. I want to be able to call them on the phone and go, and they came back here like I did to finish. Because my father, my real father, my earthly father, he went back to school, and my mother went back to school, and all their credits, as far as I know, were accepted. And they were,
A lot of your credits were, the ones in education courses.
Yeah, but look at in education, in physical education, and I don't want to say anything bad, but I think I'm physically fit more than anyone at this College of Knowledge. And for sure, I move faster than Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali in every master disaster. So that's good for URI. And I'm one of the Barbarian brothers who is known worldwide in the name of URI pride. And so why wouldn't they give me credit? In other words, they should give me credit for all the seminars that people flew me all over the world and paid me for my opinion on physical education. But they won't accept my credit to URI. In other words, Bill Cosby got an honorary degree from his College of Knowledge, and there's other people. So here I am, the strongest bodybuilder in the history of the world, basically. Used to curl 160 pounds 10 times with one arm. And so that should charm the physical education to people at URI.
Well, you're physically fit, but that physical education.
No, but all that is, in other words, why did they give honorary degrees to people in Unholywood and Los Angeles? Why do those people get honorary degrees at their colleges of knowledge? There must be a reason, right? And so I always figured, but I guess I'm dumb, the URI, which is really not, you know, like the Ivy League schools. In other words, people look down upon URI, especially those Ivy League schools, and go, ugh, get away from me. You know, you're a dummy, you're crummy. And so I thought that it would be great for URI that I have a better assortment of endorsements than anyone who would graduate from Harvard or Yale. Without fail, in other words, it's more than obvious if the guy who marketed Jim Henson says, I'm so ahead of anything Disney and Henson ever did, and Disney's on most people's #1 list as the most innovative, creative, per son, not per sin, in the history of this godforsaken planet, then more than obviously that would be great for URI. And so how come they don't even want to respond to that bomb?
We don't. You talk to financial aid at some point, because they were able to give you financial aid and help. Fellowships, assistantships.
No, I'm not even talking about the fellowship. That's after you graduate.
And scholarships are something that you apply for, that we then give. So if you want to apply for,
I told Frank, you know, Frank, and he said I was first on his list, is when money became available, he would give it to me, you know, Frank and talent development. Yeah.
Okay.
He told me that a year ago. And then I found out that they're giving a scholarship, the head of arts and sciences. People write a letter, and whoever writes the best letter is supposed to get a scholarship.
There's an application.
Huh?
There's an
But,
application.
and so like I said to Earl, I go, Earl, come on. I go, in other words, my #1 statement full of zero hating without any debatement is you cannot quarrel with a moral. And so morally, if you look at my assortment of endorsements as that page written, unless you're smitten with yourself and put yourself on a higher shelf, no one's going to come up with a better letter for letter than that about me, that cat in the hat. In other words, the #1 educator,
So
not
you've
in there.
got good recommendations.
Great recommendations.
Great endorsements.
Incredible. In other words, the #1 educator in the world, knighted by the
That's
Queen of
right.
England.
But you've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet to get a fellowship scholarship.
No, but what I'm saying is, why should, in other words, here's a student more than prudent going to ask these deans at this college, look, I have great news. I go to URI instead of Harvard and Yale, and I have a better assortment of endorsements than anyone at those schools. And so for sure, you're not going to be coolish and foolish and more than any ghoulish. And of course, you're going to want to give me an endorsement because you're my teacher. You're not even a preacher. And so if you don't want to do that, then you're going to be looked at as a leecher.
No, let me tell you the way the system works. You may not like it, but listen. When you apply for scholarships, fellowships, or assistantships, or money here, you fill out an application. You even have to write a paper. Then you're asked for 2 or 3 names of recommenders or endorsers. But the real thing we look at is you, not necessarily your endorsement.
But I understand that. I understand that. In other words, they're looking at what John Leo looked at. You know what I mean? That's what they're looking at. And so John Leo went to Yale, and so if he goes, this is the most genius thing I've seen.
Well, I mean, that's correct. But,
Okay? But why would they call a Poe nice and Poe not nice on me? In other words, don't you see, it's a, in other words, I go see John Leo, and he doesn't call the police on me. I go see Earl, he doesn't call the police on me. I go see G, he doesn't call the police on me. I go see you, you don't call the police on me. But when I go to see the head of the Honors Society, and I want to shoot a beautiful movie in the room, he goes, the room is taken for the whole semester, day and night, 24 hours a day. And I said, okay, well, can I get an endorsement from you? And he goes, if you're not out of here in 10 seconds, I'm calling the police on you. And he calls the police, and I was out before 10 seconds.
Oh.
And so why is it that everybody, all these other people, call the police on me? Why? Why are they calling the
why
police?
do you think Dean McKinney did, or and Nancy Kelly this afternoon? Why
Honestly, I told you, I think they're jealous. That's why I think they call the police. In other words, it's all positive. They should want to give me an endorsement to make URI look good. And plus, I was told by Damon Elliott, who's in business with Larry King's wife. They did a production company together. And my brother just shot her with his photography. And then he's shooting Larry King and his wife because they love the pictures so much. And so they told me that the blackball list is over in December. And it could be over before that. And so all these people, who, in other words, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they're people, I think they're creeples. Lost in the steeple.
Peter, it's 2:42. I don't want you to miss your bus.
Yeah, I gotta go. Anyway, thank you. I know you're in the one.
Listen, I'm going to call Lynn McKinney, find out what went on.
The whole
Did they ask you to leave?